Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
So, are you a coach, consultant, service provider, and looking for social media marketing tips to help you drive business and grow profits? I have a special guest today that's going to help give us some great tips when it comes to this stuff. So today's guest is Ed Weeks from HV Social Media, and he specializes in working with small businesses, generating revenues for them via social media. He does a few other things, but I want to really focus today's episode on social media marketing. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ed to the show. What's going on, my man?
What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm having a blast, dude. Beautiful day in New Jersey, and just want to commence on a beautiful day and get some value out there to these folks. So for those folks that don't know who Ed Weeks is, let's get some context around you so people have an understanding of why we should be listening to today's episode.
All right, cool. I like that, man. That's a good way to start this. So real fast, Ed Weeks is no youngster, right? I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 in October. I have been around many different aspects of business, all sorts of sales, executive roles. I've had a gig on Wall Street for a while. I've made some real good money working for others. But at the end of the day, I've always worked with businesses. I've worked with businesses raising capital, driving sales, doing all sorts of fun things. So reality is, look, I'm an MBA guy. I really got sick and tired of like the daily grind of corporate world, right? Gave it up, started my digital marketing agency, 2015, on a wing and a prayer. I'll be honest with you. There wasn't nearly as much noise as there is now, but the reality is it gave me a lot of great early experience on, the heels of Facebook, Instagram, really before Instagram blew up. So I think I can take a good perspective of what works in a business world and how to get people over the hump, right? Most people don't want to do this. There's a lot of youngsters in the game that they don't want to listen to. And, when they could talk to somebody who's been around the block a while, it kind of calms them down. So I'm hoping I could bring that to your audience today and add some value. So here we are.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate it. We connected on LinkedIn, and, LinkedIn has been a blessing for me. I mean, I had the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine on the show 2 weeks ago through LinkedIn, literally just reaching out and saying, hey, man, love your stuff. Listen to your podcast. Would love to have you on the show. And boom, he was like, I got 20 minutes. Let's go. So it was that simple. So LinkedIn is a great platform to really connect with folks like ourselves. So let's dive in, right? So I like to do things in threes, Ed, because I think our brains can compute and digest things in threes a hell of a lot easier than doing a laundry list of tips. So if we had to break down the top 3 tips when it comes to social media marketing for consultants, what would you start with?
Especially consultants, most of us are B2B, right? We're working B2B. We're starting exactly where you said. LinkedIn is a great place for someone to start. Now, it's not LinkedIn to spam consistent sales messages to people. It's not creating content that's around, hey, look at me, look how great I am. Please work with me, hit me up, call me, sell. No, it's what you just started with. It's having a conversation, thanking somebody for, the content they're providing. Awesome job they did. Hey, by the way, I have a podcast. I have, free minute. Can we talk? You'd be surprised how many people will actually talk. So I think one is just that. LinkedIn is a huge, huge resource. So start one with LinkedIn. 2, I think one of the best tips in the world is create content that is actually you. Be real, be who you are. Everybody knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Well, if they don't, you can look him up. Gary, I used to consume a lot of his content. I don't anymore, but you know what? He is him. He's always been him. He drops the F-bombs. He's as real as they get. If that's who you are, go do it. Don't try to be that though. I mean, I curse, but I don't really do that in a business scenario. So, on a podcast once in a while, you may hear some F-bombs come out because I get fired up about something. But the reality is I don't spend a whole lot of time cursing unless I'm on the golf course because that game drives me bonkers. So again, tip 2 is create content that is actually you. Don't pretend that you're something you're not. If you're new, say it. If you're a brand new consultant, you could probably get a few clients just by saying, you know what, I'm just getting started. Give me a chance. Let's go for it. And we'll see what happens. Like, that's how I started my agency. I worked for a deli, for Christ's sake. I worked for a deli to help them drive a couple of offerings they wanted to do. And I did it for breakfast. So you could start in this business by just being real and being honest with customers and create content that is around that. So 1, LinkedIn, 2, content, 3, I think, again, it ties to that content piece, and it's don't be like everybody else. Everybody today is a digital marketer. Everybody is a marketing firm. Everybody is this. I get it. I understand it. I think that'll change once, the economy slows down a little bit. But if you see everybody is doing the same thing, go do something different. Read Seth Godin's book, Blue Ocean. Go out there, look at Blue Ocean strategy, look at things of just being completely different. I strive in that. Look, I wear a hat that most youngsters wear. I don't dress the corporate route anymore. I have banks as clients. Sometimes they're like, why don't you grow up? No, I'm me. Like, you're not going to make me be anything different. So I think those are the 3 biggest takeaways that anybody who watches this can say, you know what? I just got to go be me. People spend so much time analyzing how they're going to create content and never do it. Just go do it. Let the audience judge it.
Yeah. I totally agree. Well, so that's about it, man. So LinkedIn, be you. Don't be like everybody else. That's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Have a good day. Hope you got some value out of it. I'll see you later.
That's it. Perfect. Now wait, there's another huge piece to that.
Yep, and we'll guarantee you $1 million by the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. It's so easy to create $1 million a year business.
So let's break this down, Ed.
Okay.
So let's start with LinkedIn. I think a lot of consultants, a lot of B2B people still have a chance to jump on LinkedIn while there's 610 million people on it. Right? I still think if you come at it correctly, you still got a shot of riding the wave. Right? So there's a few things that I would suggest we do, and I would love to hear your insights on this, because I think you have more of an edge over me with this stuff. But one thing that I capitalize on when I use LinkedIn is Sales Navigator. It's $80 a month, but man, is it a sharp tool. And essentially what Sales Navigator is, it is a search engine within LinkedIn that helps you narrow down the folks that you want to connect with. And you can narrow down as from position to how many people they have in their company. I mean, the filtering is impressive. So, and then you can instant message these people. And like Ed said before, I wouldn't suggest you put out some spammy message asking them to download something before you even introduced yourself. I think that's the old way of doing things, and it doesn't work anymore. But just reaching out and saying, hey, came across your profile, would love to connect with you. Just keep it real genuine. How would you meet somebody in the street or at a bar or at a restaurant, right? Or, on vacation? It's the same thing, right? So Sales Navigator is a massive tool. The other thing that I like to do, and I don't do it as much as I should, but it's writing articles. Writing articles on LinkedIn is so powerful because there's this share functionality that you can use and leverage to get more awareness and eyeballs on the article. It's essentially writing a blog post, but sort of LinkedIn does a lot of the optimizing for you. It's not like you a blog post where you publish it and it goes out into the never-ending sea of blog posts, right? LinkedIn will help you get it in front of the right people. So those are 2 things right off the bat that I would suggest you do on LinkedIn that's going to help you build up that credibility and authority and put some buzz around you. Because if we're not publishing, then nobody knows who we are, right? I mean, that's a big thing with social media marketing. So would you add anything to that?
I love those 2. I mean, I do articles. I love them. And I think it is blogging 2019, right? You could actually utilize LinkedIn to optimize the hell out of it for you. So yeah, great tool. I just think people have to understand you have to start from somewhere, right? You just start and do it, and you'll start to understand the power that comes. You're not going to get hundreds of likes and hundreds of shares. And if you're doing video content there, which I think is a great strategy to also utilize, do some great videos. You can do it from your phone. I'm doing this from my phone. I mean, most of these phones are really good enough to create great videos. Just go do it. Like, people get scared to do it. If you do it, you let your audience judge it, and more people will come. Play a little longer game than, oh my God, I didn't, it's not Facebook and Instagram. You don't have to be consumed with, likes and shares and comments. So again, I think just do it on LinkedIn and you'll be surprised. Navigator, you have to have Sales Navigator. If you're not willing to invest the $86.38 or whatever it comes out to a month in the platform, you're really missing out on the true power of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So those are two huge pieces. Again, use video, put it out there, publish and use video. Don't spam.
Well, I think the biggest hiccup I get from clients, and the biggest what's the word I'm looking for? I just got back from vacation, so I'm still like literally trying to get back into the swing of things. So my apologies for not getting my words together. But I think the biggest problem that I see my clients face with is they come to me and say, you tell me to put myself out there, but I don't know what to put out there. I don't know what I should what's my first move? So when somebody says that, to you, Ed, how do you respond?
I truly respond with, look, think about on a daily basis what's coming in question-wise from clients, or things you're seeing within the industry that are, major issues, and address them. Talk about them. I go through it all the time. Today I did my own podcast. I put it out there about a client who was looking at, return on ad spend down to 5 times, and they were upset. Well, yeah, they were used to 7, 8 times, but the bottom line is advertising has gotten more expensive. So you have to adjust your expectations. My God, if you could have pinpointed 5 times ad spend on TV and actually been able to track it, you would have done that all day. So
right.
I just think it's about addressing. There's so much that happens on a daily basis in all our lives that can tie into really super content. People overthink it. They really think they have to be, I don't know what they think they have to be, but if you do the daily business, you have plenty of content every day sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, Ed, because I think a lot of folks, when they think of social media, they think that they need to be something bigger than they are to attract that bigger client or whatever the case may be. I call bullshit to that, because I say to myself, you will get sniffed out eventually. And what's going to be worse is when your client or audience sees that you're not who you really are.
Sure.
And
I agree.
I think that has a bigger repercussion than you trying to puff up to make like you're this big shot, and you're not. So, again, you said it before, but keeping it real is definitely a good play. And I think a long-term strategy and a long-term thought process in this, especially if you're a consultant that's established and has been around a few years and looking to scale, I think showing how you do that is very, very important on social media. And it could be a way to create content. Like, I had my team build out 3 case study landing pages for me yesterday that we're going to publish and develop today, and they'll be live tomorrow. But I'm going to take out my Instagram. I'm going to go to my IG story, and I'm going to film my screen and show people what we're doing behind the scenes here, right? And why we're doing it, right? And people love that shit. I just got back from Spain, Italy, and France, and I did a lot of IG storying around our stops, right? The amount of viewership tripled versus the super polished videos that I had my editors doing prior to going away. So I tested that, and I said, when I came back, I said, we're not doing that no more. I'm going to take those dollars and I'm going to put it towards something else. Something that's going to help me showcase expertise and help my audience get through the problems that they're going through. I mean, that's a big thing. So if you can position your content to help folks get through their pains and problems, you will have a massive following in no time, in my opinion.
It's hard to, I can't disagree with that. And it does, look, there's a time and place for high-end professional video. I utilize it with a lot of my clients, but some IGTV, the LinkedIn to connect and be real and show who you really are. You can do it from your phone. The quality is not nearly as important as the content that you're delivering. And when you're delivering killer content that somebody needs. And then the other thing I think a lot of people miss is, yes, you know what? Some of that will not connect with a lot of people, right? You're gonna put content out there that doesn't connect to a lot of people. It's the people that actually it connects to that you will win over quickly. It's amazing. I have people, and you don't always hear about it. They don't comment, they don't share, they don't like, they don't do any of these things. But you'll be sitting in a meeting, and this happens to me all the time. I put a lot of stuff out there. People will say, "Hey, you know what? I was on your YouTube channel for months and months. I've been looking at the things you're doing, and some of the things you put out there really connected. Let's talk how that can help my business."
Yeah.
That's when you're like, boom, winner. I got this. If I mess this up, that's on me. They're actually consuming my content, and it's hitting home. Again, I wish that happened every time. It doesn't, but when it does, it's a good confirmation that you're putting good stuff out there.
Yeah, I think that's what people really need to pay attention to. I think let's not get so focused on what we want and stay more focused on what we like and what our audience is going to resonate with. I think that's because when you do that, I think, in my opinion, what's going to happen is you're going to enjoy the experience more, and that's going to level up your content, right? And it's going to have you thinking, despite the outcome, I had a good time.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed this. Right. And that's where I think we get stuck. We want. And then when we don't get it, it's like, this sucks. This doesn't work. This is stupid. I'm not doing this anymore. We were talking offline before we started. We were talking about how a lot of the consultants that I've been around a while, but not so much on social media. And now they're starting to feel the pinch, right? They're starting to feel the vice start to squeeze in on them. Oh shit, now I got to get out there on social media now. But they're resistant because they think that it's work and they didn't sign up for that, right? What do we say to those people?
Yeah, like this is work, right? I mean, this is you doing your gig, me doing my gig. This is, if this is work, this is what you want to do all the time. I think most people, once they act, introverted, extroverted, I get all that, but I think most people can get real comfortable talking to this screen. It's not that hard to do. I mean, you focus on that and that's it. I just do it and you'd be amazed. And the beauty is, in the beginning, when you're trying to build, wherever you are, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, wherever you're trying to build, not that many people are paying attention yet. So you're going to get better as you're going along. Your early content can really stink. You don't have to be the best. You're going to worry about edit. I don't edit. That's one thing. I don't edit anything I do. I just do it and put it out there. Surprisingly, most times it's just first take, roll with it. And that's it. And it's, I have another podcast that I do with a good video production guy. And it's one shot and we're done. And guests are scared as hell when they first get in there. And then they realize, oh my God, I'm just having a conversation. Exactly. Most of the content that I create is a conversation.
I like that you mentioned that because I forget what book it was. But they said, when you're creating content, just think of it as a coffee conversation.
That's it.
A coffee conversation. How would you chat with a friend or family member having a cup of coffee at a cafe? That's how you should come across on social media. And man, is your audience going to love that.
Yeah, and that's how you connect with people. And that's, you do everything as if you would do it in person. If you're the type of person, and if I'm knocking someone, I'm sorry. But if you're the type of person who goes to even an off-site networking, you're at the chamber, wherever you may be, and your first instinct is to just hand out cards left and right, that doesn't work. That's spamming people, right?
Yes.
When you actually take the time to say, hey, what do you do? What are you about? I mean, everybody likes to talk about themselves. If you can't get somebody to talk about themselves, you're not going to win them over ever. So do the same thing on social media. What's your business about? What are you about? What are you doing? Really take an interest in, again, creating content that's geared towards what's in it for them.
Yeah.
And you're going to win. And it doesn't mean you're going to have 1 million followers and you're going to make millions of dollars tomorrow. but you're going to start laying the basis for a real solid social media and digital strategy that's going to win long-term, short-term, and beyond. And this is the new realm. If you're scared of it, you better get used to it sooner than later.
Yeah. I mean, my mantra inside my head is, how can I wake up and be of value today? Right. And how can I amplify that out? Right. And so a lot of the people that I consult with and I do work with, they're busy entrepreneurs. They're running multi-million-dollar businesses, or they're on the verge of, they're scaling, they're growing, everything's happening in real time, and they don't have a lot of time to pussyfoot around. So I realized that, and I said, podcasting, I better get on this train now. And this was 2.5 years ago. I'm going on my 3rd year. And I said, let me start doing it and get comfortable with it. And I remember I was sitting right here, and I whipped it out, and I didn't whip it out. I whipped out the mic. Don't get dirty on me. But
you're from Jersey, bro, Gotta clarify. Good job. Sorry.
And so what happened was I fell in love with it. And what I realized was these busy entrepreneurs, they love podcasts because they can do other things. They could listen to it while they're driving or at the gym. And now we're up to 40,000 freaking downloads a month, which is blown. My mind has been blown. So you just stay at it and keep at it and think about them. When you get all huffy and puffy about social media marketing, that's letting your ego get in the way. I'm a firm believer of that. And if you, and please call me out on this if I'm wrong. If you're scared, it's your ego. If you think it's not important, it's your ego. Put all that aside and start thinking about the other person on the other side of that screen that really freaking needs your help.
Amen. I mean, you truly think, and I've had conversations, again, being mid-40s, late 40s, I've had many conversations with friends that are business owners that weren't on social media. Back when I started this, nobody's on that. I don't want to be on there. I'm not there. I don't care about that. Now, not only in the middle of a golf round, they're on their darn phone checking out Facebook and Instagram, but they're like, hey, how can you help me with this? How can you help my business do this? So again, their original thought was that ego that I don't want to be there. I don't care. I don't, it's all high school people connecting. Like it's everybody's there. Like your audience is there. Like you got to put your ego aside and realize you can connect to them and do it at scale. It's beyond what you can do on a daily, on your feet, grassroots tactics. So even if you're still I have no problem with anybody who wants a cold call, knock on doors, do your things, be you, do that, but add this to the mix. It can only enhance what you're doing.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. As long as you stay on brand and you put things in context that are going to truly help people, like transform. See, people buy transformation. Mm-hmm. They don't buy anything else. That's what they buy. So if you can understand that and say, what does my skill set do to help that transformation? That's what you focus in on. And showcase that. Like this podcast video will be chopped up into 1,000,000 60-second pieces over the next 6 months. And it will help people understand the power of social media marketing. Because that's why I had Ed come on, because I said, here's a guy that focuses just on this, and consultants and speakers and thought leaders out there that are turning that curve and feeling that pinch. Because now, oh shit, the competition is not the way it was 10 years ago. I need to step up or else I'm out of business. I said, Ed's got to be the guy to come on the show, and we got to have this conversation wherever it takes us. So I want to get into the doc's prescription and leave you with 3 big takeaways that I think this conversation created for you guys. And one is to really leverage the tools. Know where your audience is hanging out. If you're B2B, LinkedIn is a great, great spot. Don't be spammy. Invest in Sales Navigator and put in the time and effort to search for people that you truly want to serve. I'm telling you, this filtering system is so crazy in Sales Navigator. You'll be impressed on how deep you can go, right? and reach out and start making these connections. We had Carla Zilka on the show a couple weeks ago. Again, met through LinkedIn, former VP of in GE, General Electric. And this woman was such a wealth of information. And we just now we're buds on LinkedIn, right? And so if she needs branding help for her clients, she knows who to call. Likewise, if I can't help a business and she can, I'm going to send those folks her way. So that's the power of LinkedIn. I mean, they call it LinkedIn for a reason, right? So use it, right? And so that's one. Number two, I think we hammered this down quite a bit today, but I want to just reemphasize that being you and staying true to what you believe in is so important. And when you remove the ego out of you will see a huge change. And when you start to focus on transformation and start focusing on the other person, you'll be much more empathetic to their needs and wants. It's going to come out through your communication, and people are going to love you for it, and you're going to have more business than you know what to do with. Then you're going to have to scale, and that's when you're going to have to call me. So that's the key to it all. And last but not least, I had one thing on the tip of my tongue, and I think I lost it, but let's see if it comes back. I said LinkedIn. I said be you. It was... what was it? Well, there was one more thing, and if it comes to me in the next 10 seconds, I'll let you have it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It didn't come. So the biggest takeaway is this: times are changing, guys, and if we're not leveraging social media to build and grow our consultancies, we are going to be out of business. That is the bottom line. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because it's a reality. I see a lot of folks out there that have been in business for 20, 30 years, and they are ghosts in their industry because they're being out-marketed and out-branded by folks that are using social media to their advantage. Look at Donald Trump and how he got into the presidency. He leveraged the hell out of social media. You don't need to be the best anymore. You just got to be the smartest one who's savvy and leveraging technology and leveraging social media, because it's all about attention. Nobody knows who you are. You don't have a business. So what doesn't get seen doesn't get sold. Okay. And I'll leave you with that. And then I'll let you decide what you should do when it comes to leveraging social media for growing your business. Okay. So getting into the questions from the community, right? We talked about this a little bit. I think we grazed it, but I get this question a lot, and it's, how do we stand out on social media? So Ed, when you get that question from your clients, how do you answer that?
I mean, I know it ties into being you, right? I mean, that's the stressor of this thing, being you, creating content as you, but there's something a lot of people, and this is kind of social media marketing next step, I think a lot of people forget, and that is the power of putting a little paid promotion behind what you do, right? So you can create great content that may be geared towards, I work with some banks, I work with some dentists, I will put content out exclusively into the arena of bank executives, and I will put paid promotion behind that. Mm-hmm. I do that on Facebook, I do that on Instagram, and I now do that on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So it's a very effective way to get what you're creating in front of your audience. So I think, once you're getting to where you're creating content that you're even getting a like here or a share here, a few things are going on, maybe some comments, it makes sense to look at adding that piece to the mix. And look, I do it for a living. I work with a team that does it. But it's really on a simple level as far as targeting your audience. It's not that hard to do at all. Really simple to do, and it's very extremely still cost effective.
Again, the tools are out there.
Yes.
All the tools are out there. It's leveraging the tools, being knowledgeable of the tools, and executing with the tools. And another thing that I would do, if you want to really stand out, one thing that I'll be shameless to say is I like to challenge the norm. Like, I like to go against the grain a little bit, and I like to just challenge. And I'm not doing it to, be that guy that's pointing fingers. You're wrong, I'm right. I'll let the politicians do that. But I'm doing it because I just want people to break out of their comfort zones, and I want people to sort of understand how complacency can kill a business very, very quickly, but slowly as well. And I've seen a lot of this happen in clients in the past where they stay complacent, they stay safe, they do what they think is right, and they just get swallowed because they don't stand for anything, right? And so, I'll give you an example. I was watching this documentary on the way home from Italy, and it was this woman, Elizabeth Holmes. I don't know if you watched this. It was an HBO documentary, and it was called something The Investor. She created this business called Theranos. And basically, she wanted to disrupt the what's the word? The blood taking industry. When people give blood. Right. So there's two big companies out there. There's Quest Diagnostic and LabCorp. And when you get blood work done, it's one of those two companies that analyze it. Right. And she wanted to come in, and she said, I want everybody in the world to be able to prick their finger and get their own blood test done in the comfort of their own home. Now, there's a lot of issues with that, but so she went and she raised $400 million, right, from investors. And she got some heavy, heavy hitters, right, to back her and be on the board, right? The company in what, 2 or 3 years was worth $9 billion, right? Then they started to run into problems, right? And instead of addressing the issues head on, they tried to cover things up. And what happened was, at the end of that 4th year, they were left with $0 in the bank. And they got indicted for fraud and conspiracy, her and the COO. And in my opinion, she should be hung for taking that, for thinking that she was going to bamboozle all of those people, right? And then never mind, how about all those people that sent in their blood? How about all those people that worked in the company that handled the blood? And Ed, you would have died. The vials were getting cracked inside of the machine, and the blood was being misplaced, and it was being splattered everywhere. Who knows what vial has hepatitis in it, right? I mean, this could have been this to me was awful. This could have took down the country, right? But it went on for 4 years, and she walks around like nothing happened. So I want to create this graphic so bad. I want to split her head down the middle, and I want one side of the face to be her, and I want the other side of the face to be Bernie Madoff, because she's no different.
Agreed.
and that,
I just looked her up on my computer, and I'm like, I remember this story.
Right?
Again, having a Wall Street background, I kind of remember that name and that company. And I'm like, wow, she still isn't in prison. Yeah.
And, man, you got to watch the documentary, guys, if you get
I'm going to. That's cool.
It was really good. And Ken Auletta, he is a journalist from the New Yorker, I believe. And I got a chance to meet him at Advertising Week last year in New York City. He is such a stud. He is such a cool dude. And he is in this documentary quite a bit because he had the opportunity to meet with her and interview her. Man, it was very well produced. It was very well produced. But at the end of the day, see, that's where people go wrong, right? When they let these things get in the way. And there's a lot of people that were backing her. I know some people to this day still think that she's like, oh, well, that's just entrepreneurship for you. People fail all the time. And, that's just the way it goes. Nah, I don't agree with that.
People fail, but people don't have to be frauds. There's a huge difference.
Thank you. So that was my long-winded rant about, challenging the norm, but look at, so there's so many places that you can get information these days. Look at what's trending and challenge that, whatever's going on. And people are going to appreciate that. Like, I really respect people that stand for something, right? And that is what is going to build this brand around you. And I talk about personal branding a lot, but like, that's how you're going to survive in the years to come, because technology is just getting that much more sophisticated and social media is just getting that much more crowded. So how do you stand out? Challenge the norm.
I think I want to give you one example that goes right into that exact scenario. I have for years tried to work with car dealerships locally all over the place because, in my eyes, they waste a ton of money in traditional means that I think they could be better served to at least examine the digital and social media realm.
Their cable TV commercials, I want to jump off a cliff.
They're so bad. And even from the top, from like Ford and Chevy's commercials, like, who are they trying to connect with?
Wow.
To the local guys, you're like, oh my God, like, I don't even want, there's a certain guy in my local area that I'm like, I would never buy a car from that guy ever, just because of, and he's being him. So this is a good point to make. He's being him. I didn't like it. I would never go there, but there's people that connect to him. And he doesn't care because the people that connect to him spend the money. But I put together a piece on LinkedIn, and it was about Your Marketing Sucks. And that's a book written by, I forget the guy's name, but it's a great book. Yeah. I just basically was like, I'm calling out car dealers today. The reality is your marketing sucks. You're missing the mark. Your videos are horrible. You really aren't utilizing the power. You're waiting for people. 80% of your business comes from search. Why are you not being proactive to try to get people in the funnel a different way? Blah, 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 blah. It was the most engaging. And a lot of it was car dealers, and it was people in the auto industry that were attacking and being pissed off. But it actually got me in front of a car dealership to have a real conversation. They were like, holy cow, I saw that piece. It was active. It was a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of conversations back and forth. But it was aggressive from my perspective of why their marketing sucked. And it opened the eyes to a local car dealer to have me in. Footnote, I never got the business, but at least I gave somebody my honest opinion about what they were doing and what they could add to the mix. And, to me, that was one of my best pieces. And honestly, it was my best LinkedIn post ever. And I probably should do more like that.
And sometimes the truth stings, but I'm a true believer of it will also set you free. Right. So that's number one. And number two, if they don't hear this, right, then they think it's okay. And that is
right. And the TV guys, the production guys aren't going to say, hey, this is really bad. Right. Why would they? They're making money from being there, producing their TVs, commercials. They're not going to ever tell them that. And a lot of customers aren't going to tell them that. But I have no problem telling people that.
Well, and here's the other thing, right? Like, nobody likes vanilla. They'll tolerate vanilla, but nobody's a fan of vanilla, right? It's so middle. It's so safe. It's so right. Like, we have a ice cream place in town here by the lake. They have the most ridiculous flavors in the world, and it's done on purpose. Like Oreo peanut butter Sauvignon Blanc. Like, I'm having that. I'm going with that ice cream all day, right? Because it's so different, right? Like, and I'm just saying, like, if you wanna really make an impact, don't be afraid to speak up, because you're going to be 98 years old one day, looking back going, why didn't I speak up? Why didn't I say what I really wanted to say? Now, again, I don't want to be called the guy who, spits in people's faces all the time and the crude and the rude. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is you have a right to an opinion, and it's how you say it, right? Me and my wife have this conversation all the time. It's how you say things. So challenge them. I think you're going to get more business. You're going to get more business when you challenge people, because they're going to say, wow, this person took me out of my comfort zone. So that's a great place to leave this episode. Ed, where can we learn more about you and how you help your clients?
Anyone can check out, we talked enough about LinkedIn, so Ed Weeks Jr., you'll find me. And it's interesting. There's a little tip for anybody. Ed Weeks is a famous actor in the UK, so I have to promote Ed Weeks Jr. because that's how I get my SEO and all the other fun pieces that I can get. So Ed Weeks Jr., look me up on LinkedIn, connect. Glad to talk to anybody, anytime.
Awesome. Ed, appreciate you, man, for coming on the show and shooting the shit with me. It was a great conversation.
Love it, man. Jersey, New York. Good connection.
There you have it, guys. Hope you got some value out of this. If you haven't written a quick little written review on iTunes, head over there right now and drop that review. I really, really appreciate it. If you know somebody that would like this podcast, please share it with them. I greatly appreciate that. I want to get the word out to as many business owners and entrepreneurs and consultants and speakers as I possibly can, and help them. And last but not least, check the show notes. There are a tremendous amount of links there. I shouldn't say tremendous, about 4 links there. And it's links to my digital products, my monthly coaching, my Brand Yourself course, some digital products that could really, really help you drive revenues and grow your business in 2019 and beyond. So don't forget to check the show notes and look at some of those links. There's also a free training in there as well that you might want to check out. If you're new to me and the show, great way to really start to, again, like I said before, stretch your thinking and get you outside of your comfort zone so you actually grow. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next episode real soon. Take care.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesigns.net.